Hello students, I am Rakesh Chauhan working as PGT Physics in Suraj School Bawal. I welcome you all in the e-learning classes of physics. Today in this video we are going to start with chapter 4 of the NCERT for class 11th, that is motion in a plane. In our last videos we have discussed about motion in a straight line, in which the particle was moving in a straight line, but here we are going to discuss about the motion of the particle which is in two dimension. Means the particle may be either moving in x and y direction, or moving simultaneously in y and z direction, or maybe moving in x and z direction. So if the particle is moving in x and y direction, so we will say the motion is in xy plane. If the particle is moving in yz direction, then we will say the particle is moving in yz plane. So whenever any of the two coordinates are going to be changed with respect to time, then the motion is said to be motion in a plane or motion in 2D. So this chapter we are going to discuss that motion in a plane or motion in 2D or two dimensions. So can you suggest or can you give some examples of the motion in two dimension? So you will definitely say, suppose motion of an insect, you can say, which is moving on a wall. So suppose this is a wall, and suppose some insect which is not having the ability of flying, so it can only crawl on this wall. So suppose this is the insect, it first goes in this direction, thereafter goes in this direction, and it randomly goes like in this direction. So such type of motion of this insect is said to be motion in a plane or motion in two dimensions. Because if I take this as y and this as x-axis, then definitely only x and y coordinates are going to be changed with respect to time, and there is no effect on the z parameter. Therefore such type of motion is said to be motion in 2D. One more example you can take is, suppose a drunkard is moving like, first he goes in this direction, thereafter in this direction, thereafter in this direction, this direction, this direction, this direction, finally reaches to this. So if I take this as x-axis, this as y-axis, then definitely only x and y coordinates are going to be changed with respect to time. Therefore such type of motion is said to be motion in a plane or motion in 2D. So whenever only two coordinates are going to be changed with respect to time, we will say that this motion is motion in a plane, okay, or motion in two dimension. We will also consider motion in 3D, but here in this chapter we are going to concentrate on the topic or on the motions which belongs to motion in two dimensions. But before understanding or developing the formulas and concepts of motion in two dimension or motion in a plane, first we will discuss, or we will study in fact, the very important topic, that is vectors and scalars. Because whenever we are talking about motion in a plane, then definitely we frequently required the directions, the vectors. Therefore it is appropriate time to first consider or first discuss what are vectors and what are scalars. Okay, so our 2-3 lectures will be devoted to the vector analysis, and thereafter we will come on to the actual practice of developing the concept of motion in a plane. So let us start with vector and scalar, the very first lecture. Since this topic is very large topic, vectors and scalar, so it cannot be completed only in one lecture. So I hope 2-3 lectures are going to finish this topic, that is vector and scalar. So first we will define vector and scalar, and thereafter discuss in detail. Vector and scalar. So I hope you must have heard these terms in your previous classes also, that what is vector and what is a scalar quantity. So scalar is that quantity which has only magnitude. If a physical quantity can be represented fully by simply describing or representing its magnitude, then that physical quantity is said to be a scalar quantity. So it only represent, or only magnitude is required to represent the scalar quantity. So how will you define the scalar quantity? The quantity or the physical quantity which require only magnitude for its representation is known as scalar quantity. So what are the scalar quantities? So scalar quantities can be considered where there is no significance or no need for showing their direction, like time. So time is a scalar quantity because we need not require any direction to represent time. So is mass. Mass is not required any direction for its representation. So is temperature. Temperature is also the physical quantity which does not require the direction for its representation. There are so many other physical quantities like distance, or we can say length, distance, as well as speed. All these are scalar quantities whose representation does not require the direction. They are represented only by the magnitude, therefore these are known as scalar quantities. I hope that you have must condition for the scalar, and the condition is that scalars are those physical quantities which require only magnitude for their representation, which does not have the significance or need for direction. Okay, now we are coming on to the vector quantity. So what are vector quantities? Vector quantities are those physical quantities which require both magnitude as well as direction for their representation. So if a physical quantity need magnitude as well as direction for its complete representation, then such type of physical quantity is called as vector quantity. For example, force. Since force require magnitude as well as direction for its complete representation, or force has a specific direction, therefore it is considered as a vector quantity. So is velocity. Velocity consists of magnitude, which is known as speed, but direction also. Therefore velocity will be vector quantity, while speed is a scalar quantity. Displacement. Displacement is also a vector quantity because it has particular magnitude as well as this we can say direction. So there are so many other quantities also, like torque we can say, and you can say angular momentum, or in fact momentum is mass into velocity, so it is also a vector quantity. So there are so many physical quantities which are vector quantities. In fact there are certain physical quantities which has direction, but still they are considered as a scalar. For example, current, electric current. If I talk about electric current, so since current is having magnitude as well as a fixed direction in the opposite direction of flow of electron, but it is a scalar quantity. So you will say why it is a scalar quantity? Because for a quantity to be vector quantity, this is not the condition that a quantity is considered vector if it is having magnitude as well as direction. These vector quantity must follow these vector quantity must follow the rules for vector calculation, like product, or we can say addition, subtraction. So all the rules which are followed by the vector quantities or vector rules. If the vector quantity is if a physical quantity is having a specific direction, a specific magnitude, as well as it follows all the rules of vector addition or subtraction or multiplication, then it is considered as vector quantity. So here if I talk about current, then the current is flowing in a wire in this direction, and suppose in another wire it is flowing in this direction. This is I1 and this is I2. So what will be the current at this node which is going outward? So you will say I3 will be definitely I1 plus I2 is equals to I3. Okay, now there is no significance of the angle between I1 and I2, the angle between I2 and I3, and the angle between I1 and I3. But if I add two vectors, suppose A vector is in this direction, B vector is in this direction, then definitely the magnitude, or you can say the resultant of these two vectors, will be dependent on the angle between these two quantities, or we can say these two vectors. So since if I bend this wire in this direction, and if I bend this wire in this direction, so still the current is I3 is I1 plus I2, although the angle is being changed by simply changing the shape of wire. So since it does not follow the rules of vector addition, subtraction or multiplication, therefore current, even if it is having a particular direction, it is considered as a scalar quantity. So these are some special cases which you must remember, that it is not sufficient condition for a quantity to be vector that it has direction as well as magnitude, but the condition is that it must consist magnitude, direction, and with all above it must follow all the rules of vector addition, or we can say vector calculation. Okay, now let us discuss the vector quantities in detail. So you can write down these definitions which I have discussed with you, that what are vector quantity, what are scalar quantities, what are their examples, what are the exceptions. So you can note down all these definitions, okay, by simply pausing the video. Okay, so now we are concentrate on vector quantities. So as I have mentioned, that vector quantities are those quantities which represent or which require both magnitude and direction and follows all the rules of vector calculation, are known as vector quantities. So now we are going to represent or write a vector quantity. So suppose A is a vector quantity. So how we can differentiate this vector quantity with the scalar quantity? So we simply put an arrow above the vector quantity. So it is called as, or it is known as, or it is read as A vector or vector A. So if I put arrow on any physical quantity, so it gives the vector representation of that physical quantity. So it is said to be A vector, or in some books it is also represented as bold A. So if I write A, this is not vector quantity, but if I bold it, underline it like this, so it become vector quantity. So this representation is so much confusing, because sometimes we will say that we have written this as bold, but actually in some other point of view it is not as looking as bold. So there is a lot of confusion in this representation. So here in this chapter we are going to represent the vector quantity only by putting the arrow above the vector quantity. So this is the representation of vector, and since vector quantity consists of both magnitude as well as direction, so it will be written as magnitude of A vector. This is the magnitude of A vector, which is normally known as mode of A vector, and there is no direction in this, but if you multiply by the direction, to this magnitude, then it will become the vector representation of A. So to represent the direction, we multiply this magnitude by simply A cap. Now you will say, what is A cap? So this A cap is known as unit vector. This is very important term, unit vector. Okay, so what is unit vector? You will say unit vector is the ratio of vector divided by mode of that vector. If I divide this vector by the magnitude of the vector itself, then it gives unit vector. Why it is known as unit vector? Because the magnitude of this unit vector is always unity. You must always remember that the magnitude is unity. Therefore, it is termed as unit vector. Magnitude is unity. Okay. So what is the significance of this unit vector? It is used to represent the direction. To represent the direction. There is no role of this unit vector in deciding the magnitude of the physical quantity A. So magnitude is represented by this mode of A vector and the direction is given by unit vector. And if we multiply any magnitude with unit magnitude, then there will be no effect on the magnitude, but it gives the direction. Therefore the importance is of this unit vector is in showing the direction. So this is the complete representation of a vector quantity. So whenever you need to write down the vector quantity, so you will first write down the magnitude and thereafter multiply it by the unit vector, which represent the direction of the vector. Okay, how we can calculate the unit vector? So you will say, or how you will define the unit vector? So unit vector can be defined as the ratio of vector to the mode of that vector, or if a vector is divided by the magnitude of that vector, then the resultant is unit vector. Okay, now we will consider unit vectors in xy direction or xyz directions. So unit vectors of Cartesian coordinate system, we can say unit vectors of Cartesian coordinate system. What is Cartesian coordinate system? The system which consists of these three perpendicular axes, x-axis, y-axis and z-axis, is known as Cartesian coordinate system. You must have studied in mathematics. There are so many other types of coordinate systems: cylindrical system, spherical system, curvilinear system, which you will study in your higher classes in physics as well as in mathematics. But here we are considering the Cartesian coordinate system, which you have gone through. So this is x, y, z. This is Cartesian coordinate system. So we want to represent the unit vectors in Cartesian coordinate system, or unit vectors for x direction, y direction and z direction. So this is x direction we have represented. So the magnitude is unity here and the direction is in this direction, so it is represented by I cap. You must remember that the unit vector in x direction is represented by I cap. Okay, or in some other books it is represented as x cap. Okay, so we will follow this rule, that is, we will represent the unit vector in x direction as I cap. Okay, this is the magnitude in y direction and this is the vector, or in fact unit vector, which is represented as j cap. So the unit vector in y direction is represented by j cap or y cap, we can say, and this is simply k cap. So you must remember that the unit vector in x direction and y directions and z direction in fact are represented by I cap, j cap, k cap respectively, and this is suppose origin. Now we will try to write down the vector quantity, or try to represent a particular point whose coordinates are given to us as, suppose this is the point P, and the coordinates of this P point are given as, normally the coordinates are represented as x, y and z, but here we will represent it as ax, ay, az. So these are the suppose coordinate of point P. So if we want to write down this OP vector in terms of ax, ay, az and I cap, j cap and k cap, so in x direction, the magnitude is ax and the unit vector is I cap. So in x direction it will be written as ax into I cap. So as in y direction, the magnitude is ay and unit vector is j cap. So if I multiply ay with unit vector j cap, so this will be the we can say projection of this or we can say this will be the part of this OP vector in y direction, and so we can write down for z direction az k cap. So how will you represent OP vector? So you will say OP vector is equals to ax I cap plus ay j cap plus az k cap. If suppose this az parameter is absent, because we are talking about motion in 2D, so definitely there will be two coordinates corresponding to x, y or yz or zx. So if az is not there, so az will be 0 and it becomes ax I cap plus ay j cap. Or suppose ay is not there, so it will be ax I cap plus az k cap. So this is the representation of a vector in the form of I cap, j cap and k cap. So you must remember this concept that the unit vectors in Cartesian coordinate system are given as I cap, j cap and k cap. Okay.